Good morning guys from the Alaska Highway. We are literally on the Alaska Highway. That is it right there. We're in a rest stop, but this is the rest stop to end all rest stops. Look at that crazy view. That is the Kluane mountain range. We're going to be driving like parallel to that, and it's meant to be one of the most spectacular parts of this drive. It's going to be epic.
And what's also amazing is that this week we're actually crossing into Alaska.
It's a special one this week. Alaska lies just over those mountains. Right, this is it. Our last push through the Yukon. Let's head to Alaska, baby. So our first stop is in a little place called Haines Junction. We've had so many recommendations for the village bakery here. I've got a feeling it might be closed for the winter, but we're gonna go and see anyway. We've just seen a sign for it. This is to turn right at the Raven Hotel. Oh no, look.
No.
Sorry, we're closed.
Okay.
Okay, no bakery this morning, eh? But never mind, just means we'll have to buy double at the next bakery we see. Can't get over these mountains. I don't know, you're probably bored of us just saying, wow, this is incredible. But every week it is breathtaking, and each week we think it's not going to get any better than this. And without fail, every week it just gets better and better and just more and more incredible. Pretty awesome, hey?
It is amazing, isn't it? Look at that. All the way around.
Who's ready for a geography lesson? These amazing mountains are part of the Kluane National Park. This is the Kluane mountain range. These ones that we can see are like the guardians of the park, and they're average about 8,000 feet. Behind them are the huge peaks, and they average 16,000 feet. I'm pretty sure Canada's highest mountain is in there, Mount Logan, if I'm right, I might be wrong. Behind there is also the largest, I think one of the largest ice fields outside of the Arctic, and there are more glaciers in there than they can name. The whole wilderness area spans in the Yukon, into British Columbia and into Alaska, and it's one of the largest protected wilderness areas in the world. In fact, it's so like wild that there's not really any trails into it. The only way to get in there is to fly. How mad is that? And it is the most like majestic scene, like driving down into them. It's out of this world. When we were in, where were we?
I have no clue.
Anyway, at some point we were in a shop that had a British food section, and I found some Branston pickle. How I'm so excited. I haven't opened it yet. So excited to have this. They also had, what did they have? Lyle's golden syrup, curly whirlies, loads of Cadbury dairy milk. They didn't have any Marmite though, which I was gutted about. I thought of all things they're gonna have Marmite. But no, got my Branston pickle though. There we go.
Oh, well done.
This is the that view and the cheese sandwich.
Actually rolling my sleeves up after weeks of driving past lake after lake that is like rock solidly frozen. This one is starting to thaw out. So this is Destruction Bay. The reason it's called Destruction Bay is that when they were building the highway, the Alaska Highway, this was a construction camp, and then one day a massive windstorm came through and completely destroyed it. Hence why it's now called Destruction Bay, which is quite a hardcore name for a place to live.
Imagine that. Where do you live? Oh, Destruction Bay.
Bay. Why is it called that? Wind blew it over.
The Alaska Highway actually follows established indigenous hunting and transport routes used for thousands of years, and indigenous guides were an integral part of the highway's construction. In fact, most settlements that you pass today are still First Nations. Someone commented a couple of weeks ago who drives this road all the time, and they said at the minute the road is pretty great apart from the stretch from Destruction Bay to Tok in Alaska. They said the frost heave is really bad, so just take it steady. And I tell you what, they were not wrong. As soon as we pulled out of Destruction Bay, the road has just turned into like a little patchwork of potholes and re-tarmac bits, and yeah, frost heave. Crazy.
Wow, look at this, we're coming down into...
Wow, look at that. Look at those mountains.
Look at all them trees.
Look at that huge U-shaped valley.
It's amazing, isn't it?
See that? It's a glacier. Look at that. We have found somewhere to crash for the night. We have found another rest stop. There are loads of these rest stops along the Alaska Highway, so you never have to worry about finding anywhere to sleep, especially as there aren't a huge amount of places off the highway to go and camp, and especially now that it's so snowy, there is definitely nowhere else to stay. And usually rest stops are kind of your last resort, just somewhere to crash for the night. But you saw the one we were at this morning and how spectacular that was. And I think this one is not too bad either. Those are the mountains we crossed earlier. And now we're just in this kind of huge valley. Absolutely amazing.
Slight change of plans, guys. There's a car over here. When we parked up about 4 hours ago, not seen any movement. Anyway, we were eating our dinner. I just looked, and the guy in the car, a strange looking guy, was just stood in front of the van. Just like that. Staring at it. Now, if I wasn't eating, I wasn't in the middle of my hot, tasty salmon teriyaki dinner, I would have hopped out and said, "Oh, is everything okay?" But it was a bit strange. Then he's just like eyeing up the van and then walked back to his car.
No, wait. Ben saw him walk off, but I looked out my little kind of side window here, and he was round the side of the van, a little bit further, just staring in. And we were just like, okay, that is even more weird. And then he did go back to his Tesla.
Popped the bonnet, or hood, however you want to say it, and got an apple out. And then all I saw was his head poke over the other side of his car with his phone, and he was just taking photos from a distance.
And also just staring at the van.
And just staring at the van, like peeking like that.
And then went back in the van.
And then got back in his car. Anyway, we took the dogs out for a walk, went to the bins right in here. You know, he didn't come out or anything. So it was just a bit really weird behaviour. I'm sure it's going to be fine, but we'll just take ourselves away from any situation and just move on to the next place.
Yeah, any situation that we don't feel super comfortable in. Right?
Yes, to be fair, it was very, very weird behaviour. So we're just going to move on to the next place. It's only 10 minutes down the road and it's still light out, so
yeah.
Better than being dead.
Right.
Better than being dead.
So in the 4 years that we've done van life, we've only ever moved on once before because we felt uncomfortable, and that was on way back in Greece. But yeah, you just have to trust your gut instinct. Like logically, we were saying, "Oh, I'm sure we'll be fine. Like nothing will happen." But then you're just watching his car and seeing, is he coming out again? Does he need anything? But then when we went out, he didn't come out to us, so it was all a little bit strange. And in the end, we decided it doesn't make us feel super comfortable, so we're gonna leave. And because the evenings are so light now, like when we were in Whitehorse, they were telling us the evenings are getting lighter by 8 minutes every day, and we're heading a lot further north than Whitehorse. So because the days are so long now, it's almost 9 o'clock? And it is broad daylight, which means that we're not driving off somewhere in the dark, which is really, really nice. I don't think sunset's till like 10:30 tonight, which is crazy.
10:35, I think. We're just rolling through Beaver Creek, and apparently it's the most westerly community in Canada. So the town sign said. There we go, that'll do, won't it?
Let's just hope there's any white Teslas rolling in.
Yeah, any weird white Teslas. Good morning. getting ready to cross the border into Alaska. We are about 25 minutes away. Where we parked up last night after Mr. Strange Guy freaked us out. It was lovely. Joined by some trucks, another camper. Oh, that's beautiful, isn't it?
Nice little spot.
The thing is, it's broken. Like,
Alaska, baby.
I think we're all set. It is, I'll press record.
Oh. I thought Ben was leaving my camera inside, but no, it was all for the vlog apparently.
We are going into another time zone, AKDT, Alaska daytime, I'm assuming that is.
Fox or a coyote?
That's a coyote, that's not a fox.
A coyote or scout, your buddies.
Yeah.
Okay, it's official, we are approaching the Alaska border. It's a pretty surreal moment for us. But I'm going to put the camera down and hopefully see you on the other side. Yes!
Oh!
Alaska!
Well done, baby. Well done.
We're driven to Alaska.
I know. Alright, I'm going to go for this top right corner, yeah? Ready?
Oh god.
Ready?
Yep. Well done. Oh. Ah! There she is. We're in Alaska, baby.
Yeah, we're in.
That was one of the nicest border crossings. They were so friendly, just lovely, like border guys, not putting on like the hard man act, were they?
No, exactly,
they were just really nice.
And within the next 10 days, we will be in Prudhoe Bay. 10 days, we are going to be at the highest point we can get, starting the Pan American.
There we go. Last frontier.
Doesn't feel real, if I'm perfectly honest.
It doesn't really sink in, does it, where you are? You're just kind of just in another place.
Okay, let's get back on the bumpy road.
Okay, so we've made it to the little town of Toke, and there is a very famous diner here called Fast Eddie's. Marianne has been raving about the salad bar here, and it has insane reviews, so we both had a bit of a long morning, so we're gonna go and have a bite to eat. Just burnt the dogs out for 45 minutes, so they should be fine in here. Let's go and see what all the hype is about. I've gone for fish and chips, and it's gone for pizza. Looks amazing. Marianne at the salad bar wasn't properly open. They had like one Caesar salad and that was it. So I couldn't try the salad bar, but I had like fish and chips with Alaskan halibut and it was so good. So now it's time to find somewhere to stay for the night, and we are just driving straight towards the biggest snow-covered mountains. They're not snow-capped, they are covered in snow. Babe, there is a moose crossing the road. I would just like to say there is a giant moose crossing the road that is the size of...
That's like an alien.
An alien.
You can see why they're so dangerous on the road, because they're massive and they just blend in so well with the trees. Wow, that was massive. Might have just spotted a bear.
Oh, it is a bear, but it's... Keep going. It's just... I got tricked. I got tricked by a silhouette. I told you. Oh, there's a moose one as well. Do you know what? I said it looked like a perfect silhouette of a bear.
And what was it? A perfectly cut out wood.
They tricked me. What are they?
What are those?
What are those? Are they geese?
They sound like
No, they're like swooping around.
Yeah.
Can't get over how light it is outside. Just like the distances we're driving are so big that within just a few days the sun has gone from setting at like 8 o'clock to now it's what, pretty much 10 o'clock, and it's only just set, so it's still like daylight out, well, really bright outside. And it's messing my body clock up. Like, I feel a little bit jet lagged. Like, I keep getting super tired at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, like really tired, like I just want to sleep for a week. And then I'll get really starving hungry, and then when I eat I'm not that hungry. And I just think like our bodies just can't keep up with how quickly it's getting light.
It's only going to get worse as well.
And yeah, we're going up to Prudhoe Bay where it's going to be pretty much, the sun's barely going to set. And the northern lights have been amazing up here at the minute. But like, we're only getting now like a 2-hour window to see them.
If we're lucky, we'll get to see them over the next few weeks.
I hope so.
I hope so, yeah.
And we'll definitely see the midnight sun before we head back, for sure.
What is it?
Seeing as we crossed into Alaska yesterday, it's time to get out our Alaska map. Now let's just give you some context for what is going on this week, or the next couple of weeks. It's going to get pretty mad. But yeah, this is the state of Alaska. This is the Canada border with the Yukon. This is where we crossed in, just down here. Just to put it in context of how remote and wild Alaska is. The word wilderness gets thrown around quite a lot, but I think if anywhere deserves the title of like land of the wilderness, it is Alaska. Because if you look at roads, towns, villages, and any sort of settlements as kind of like civilization, it is on a 20% of Alaska. The rest is pure untouched wilderness. That is how remote it is here. In fact, this is really the road system. There's no roads in any of this part. This is where you can only get to this part by boat or by bus charter, by, you know, the little planes. And what we're going to be doing, so this is Fairbanks here, there is one road that goes north, and this is the road that we're going to be taking all the way up to Prudhoe Bay. It's the Dalton Highway. Some of you have been asking why we're doing the Dalton Highway, because if you didn't know, there is another route that takes you north to the Arctic Ocean, and it's this route here, and it's called the Dempster Highway, and it's just cut off the map here, but it takes you up to a place called Tuktoyaktuk in Canada. The reason that we're doing the Dalton Highway is because it's the official start of the Pan American. Now, because the Dalton Highway was built to service the oil fields up in Prudhoe Bay, and because they are oil fields, there's no public access to the Arctic Ocean. You have to take a tour to get to the Arctic Ocean up there, which is why people prefer to the Dempster, because on the Dempster Highway you can literally drive your van to the shores of the Arctic Ocean. But for us and this trip, it is not about getting to the Arctic Ocean. We figure we can drive to the Arctic Ocean in Norway or when we're in Europe. So it isn't so much about driving to the Arctic Ocean for us, it's about getting to Prudhoe Bay and getting to the start of the Pan American Highway. Both of these roads are massive adventures in their own right. And what it comes down to, there is no right or wrong. It's just what you want to do. So if you want to do the Dempster, do the Dempster. If you want to do the Dalton, do the Dalton. They're both going to be drives of a lifetime. For us, we have chosen to the Dalton for those reasons, and we absolutely cannot wait. It's going to be such an epic drive. We're going to be crossing here. These are the Brooks Range Mountains. There's the Atigan Pass, and the gates to the Arctic, which is one of the world's most remote national parks. We'd love to do the Dempster one day, but not on this trip. And as it stands, we're actually heading up so early that the tours to the Arctic Ocean aren't even open yet. They don't open till the end of May because the Arctic Ocean is still frozen. But we're not going there for the Arctic Ocean. We're going there to reach Dead Horse and to reach Prudhoe Bay. So, with that being said, we need to finish this Alaska Highway. We're going to be heading to Fairbanks today, where we're going to start getting prepped and getting everything ready to take on the Dalton. We've got some extra fuel jerry cans, and we've got to stock up on water and food and all that kind of stuff. So with that being said, Shall we finish this Alaska highway?
Yep, let's go and finish it.
Wow.
We are at mile 1,368 of the Alaskan highway. We started at 0 in Dawson Creek. 1,300 miles later, let's finish it, come on.
So it's the last stretch to the end of the Alaska highway, and it is just one long straight road.
Come on, we gotta get to it. We've done it! Mwah.
The end of the Alaska highway. At the very beginning of this trip, Prudhoe Bay was like our destination. That was where we were going. We knew we had to drive the Alaska highway, but we kind of just thought it was a normal road. I don't think we definitely didn't know what an experience.
No, what an experience. It has been absolutely phenomenal.
Drive of a lifetime, honestly. And that's just to get here. I know it is a cliche that it's about the journey, not the destination, but Toba, in this case, it is very true.
What a journey.
You can't quite see it, but 600 miles to Prudhoe Bay.
Let's go to Prudhoe Bay.
Let's do it.